let me kind of start looking backwards as I do each and every week, and it's not always easy to do when you lose a game like we did at Miami, in a game that walking into it I felt like we had the opportunity to be competitive with two young quarterbacks that I thought had a good week of practice walking into it, and I was really excited to see how our football team was going to respond. It is discouraging in a lot of respects to lose a football game 40-9 the way that we did. But when you come back and watch the film, I think there were some areas of play that really stood out and were really positive. I thought the way Matt Floyd stepped in for 3 quarters, I was really proud of the way he played for a redshirt freshman walking into a situation. And I thought the offensive and defensive lines played well, especially our defensive front 7 against the run, to a team who typically had been running for a lot of yards, for them to stand up and hold them to 80 yards and to have Demetrius Murray rush for 100 yards. There were some positives, don't get me wrong. I'm certainly not blowing that in the horn and excited about it, but when you go back and watch the film, it wasn't completely broke. There's no doubt that in the secondary we had way too many unchallenged deep balls where the ball was in the air and we didn't have anybody in the vicinity, which is unexcusable from a coach and player standpoint. But at the end of the day, the bottom line, I don't think we played well enough in the secondary or at wide receiver to be competitive against a football team like Miami. The bottom line is, as a team, as a staff, we weren't able to get it done as a group. But I do think there were some things to build on as we go into this week and we start to get ready for Cincinnati. You look at Cincinnati, and I look at they're 7-3 right now. I think Butch Jones does a great job. They've been playing football for a long time, and they've had an awful lot of success. When you look at this football team, I think probably the thing that stands out to me more than anything else is just the number of seniors that they have and how well they're playing for them right now. They're starting 12 seniors on this football team, and most of them are their best football players. When you start talking about their 2 defensive ends, their middle linebacker with over 100 tackles, their free safety, their corner who's leading the team in interceptions, they're all upperclassmen, and I'm sure on senior night they're going to be extremely excited and ready to play, and I'm sure they're going to be very motivated in this football game. But I think the same thing is true when you look at them from an offensive standpoint. I mean, they've got some really talented running backs. They have 2 guys. Abernathy was kind of like our Lindsey Lamar, smaller, quick, fast, athletic. And then Wynn is a physical, durable, 1,000-yard rusher for him so far this year. I think they have some really good running backs. I think they have 2 quarterbacks. I don't know if Kay will play or not because of an injury for last week, but Munchie Legault has played quite a bit anyway, so it's not like they're putting an inexperienced quarterback into that place. I think their offensive line is big, and I think their tight end, Kelsey, is a weapon for them, and that's their go-to guy who they throw it to. Their special teams are ranked 2nd in punt, and punt return and kickoff return. They're 2nd in the league. I think 15 statistical categories there, 1, 2, or 3 in our conference. So it's a very good football team. I said they're 7-3. They're 16 points away from being undefeated. I watched the Louisville game in overtime with the way that they lost it and just how heartbreaking it was. But I think this is a really good football team, and it's a great opportunity for our team to go up there and play. A lot of people are asking the question now, with the bowl game being out, what do you play for now that the bowl game is out of reach? Well, it is uncharted waters for myself and for a lot of guys on this team. Even last year, we were in the very last game of the year playing for a bowl game. And with 2 games remaining on the schedule, a lot of people say, why do you play? But I don't think the carrot dangled in front of this team is just for a bowl win. I mean, they want to win. There's a lot of reasons to continue to play this game. We have the opportunity to represent this great university, and there's a lot of players that have come before us that have worn this jersey, and there's going to be a lot of players that come after us that wear this jersey. And we talk all the time about intangibles as a football player, focus and passion and energy and enthusiasm and those type of things from an intangible standpoint. But there's other intangibles as well. Things like loyalty and character and discipline and dignity. And what we're fighting for right now for this senior class and for this university, and to have the opportunity to represent this great program, I think is far greater than playing for just a bowl game. There's still plenty to play for, and I think this football team went out. We had a great practice this morning. We've had to change our schedule with a short week. They went out. I think they had an excellent attitude as they went out. I thought we had a very good practice this morning. We'll go Tuesday. We'll go Wednesday morning. We'll give them a little bit of time off for Thanksgiving. We'll come back here Thursday afternoon. We'll practice, and then we'll get on the plane Thursday night and fly up to Cincinnati for the game Friday evening. But I think as a football coach and as a football team, I think we're excited to get back out onto the field, because I certainly am not real excited about the last performance that we had, the way we played together as a team. And we've got to take the positives and build on it, and we've got to improve some of the things that we have to get better at. What questions could I answer for anybody?
You talk to coaches and teammates, they all say Matt's the kind of guy that plays well when the stakes go higher, and he plays his way into the game. Do you like the headiness that he's shown you so far?
I like the poise and the headiness. I mean, he threw an interception, and he came off the field, and I said, Matt, we have a couple choices at this point in time. I said, as a freshman going in, one of your first passes being picked, I said, you know, you threw it to him, and he said, yeah, I did kind of throw it to him. I said, well, you hit him in the sternum, so I hope that's where you were aiming. I said, because you threw it right to him. I said, you got a couple options. You can kind of take the rest of the day and put your head in a shell and be shell-shocked and throw a couple more of those, or you can say that was a valuable learning lesson, and I'm not going to throw anymore, and I'm going to lead this thing back, and we're going to get competitive. And he said, that's the option I choose. He said, I don't want to go the other route. He said, that's not even an option for me. I like the headiness, the poise, the way he handled himself, especially starting with a little adversity. But I really like the composure that he showed in the way he handled himself. And I think Matt is a gutsy performer. He stood in there. He took some shots. He made some throws. I said this after the game, I don't think we did a lot to help him. There wasn't a circus catch in that game, although we did drop 6. You know, we didn't go get one. We shouldn't have gone to go get. But I think everybody, the receivers are definitely going to need to pick it up if a guy like Matt is going to be successful in this offense.
You have spring ball, you have training camp, but he's got conceivably, I guess, 2 games, 2 real live bullet games. How much can that affect his future or affect his status moving forward if he performs well here?
I think it goes a long way, not just in numbers, statistically, you know, that he's good enough to play the position, but I think it goes a long way in this football team supporting him and rallying behind him and going into next year for them feeling confident. Like you talked about, some of them said, Matt's a heady, tough, hard-nosed competitor. I think right now, when a lot of people are asking, why do you go play the game, and to go out and compete and play at a high level, I think will go a long way in being a rallying cry. And a lot of guys on this football team, and a lot of people that support this program and feeling really good about the future with a young quarterback who's got 3 years of eligibility remaining. So, like I said, I think there's still a lot to play for. I think Matt will go out and he'll compete.
Skip, you had taken a lot of pride, even through the losing streak, that you guys were competitive in all those games, probably back to Pittsburgh of last year.
Correct.
When you get a result like Saturday,
yep,
what is the key in these last 2 games to not letting another game be like that?
Well, start with, we need to cover them. I mean, we need to start there. I mean, it was like throwing on air. I mean, they had 400 yards of passing, and I think 7 passes went for over about 30 yards. I mean, and when you look at it, it didn't bother me that they went for 30 yards. I thought Ken Durden on the one sideline on our play was right there. The young man made a fantastic catch, but I can handle a play like that being made when we're there to challenge it. The one that discourages me, the one that frustrates me, the one that I don't think we can tolerate as coaches or players are the ones when they throw the ball and there's nobody there. There's no reason for that when you call 3 deep zone for a guy not to be there. They threw a touchdown pass. We were in 2 deep zone, meaning 2 guys are supposed to be deep as the deepest, and when one of the long touchdowns crossed the end zone, the deep safety hadn't crossed the 30-yard line yet, which I don't think there's any excuse for that. I don't think there's any reason for that, and that's on us as coaches and us as players, and we have to take responsibility for that. And from that standpoint, that's what I'd like to see us correct. If they throw it up there and we're there to battle with them and they out-jump us and knock us down and catch a ball and run into the end zone, then I'll be the first one to say they're better than us. But other than that, I think we've got to get more competitive in the secondary, and we've got to show more discipline in being able to play some zone coverage and be able to cover the zones on the field.